Hey, this is Rick Vandenberg for Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, and it's late January, so you probably wonder what am I going to talk about in the wintertime relative to bugs. Well, you know, I'll find something, and there's three things I'd like to talk about, and it's the bugs and the weather, and also about misinformation and fake news and all that, as you've watched these videos over the years. So I wanted to talk about that, and when my son and I started this, my youngest son and I, 10 and a half years ago and over 500 videos ago, our third video was one that we did that in hindsight turned out to be very prophetic, and it was meant just to be funny. But as we look back on that, it's kind of interesting, the particular topic of that. And even today, even though back then we only had about 100 members of Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, it remains one of our most popular ones. So I want you to take a quick look at it. It's only about a minute long, and then we'll follow up with a real quick discussion afterwards.
Hey, this is Rick Brandenburg. It's about noon on Saturday. I'm reporting about Hurricane Irene. Want to let you know that we're doing okay here. Power's out, so there's no electric guitar, but we're going to hold off talking about insects. Next week we'll do that. Right now, I just want you to know we're okay here. Wind's blowing a little bit of rain, but we'll get back to normal stuff next week. I just want you to know that we, Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, are your credible source of information. If you see it here, you know it's real. We're not going to fake it. We're not going to sensationalize it. It's going to be real. So, we're going to sign out. We'll see you again next week. All right? Take care. We're okay here. Bye-bye.
Okay, so after 10 and a half years, this was the third video we ever did. I don't know whether this video is funnier or it's more sad based on the topic really that we deal with today of misinformation and that sort of thing. And we've got misinformation in virtually every aspect of life, from you know, climate change, from COVID vaccinations, from you know, everything, Roundup causing cancer, and a lot of various issues, politics, gas prices, you name it. We can find information on both sides of the argument. And that's not at all what I want to talk about today. Again, we know there's more of it than ever, and it's more readily accessible than ever. But it impacts us as turfgrass managers in two ways. Number one, we have a tendency to migrate towards information that we would like to believe and say you're really looking for a product or a practice to solve a particular problem, and you've not been able to come across an answer. So if you see something, a particular product or a management strategy that seems to address this big concern you have, you're going to want to believe it's true, because you need help, you need answers, you need support in what you're trying to do. And we have a tendency to sometimes carelessly migrate towards that information. And I caution you about doing that and making sure your sources are really good and you get your information from reliable and biased information from people and sources that you know are reliable. But the second point is, and we see this a lot, and I don't care what part of turf management you're in, whether it's golf course, sod farm, lawn care, sports turf, whatever, and that's misinformation that the public is consuming. And the classic example in turf has obviously been Roundup or glyphosate, and the fact that it causes cancer. There's been all these lawsuits and this and that. And, you know, how do we battle that? And how do we prevent the public from thinking this is gospel, basically? But we see it in other areas. We saw it with, you know, the neonicotinoids and bee kills. There's been information that came out about a year ago how there was going to be this insect apocalypse and all the insects were dying off, and just lots and lots of information. And we really can't stop it. We really can't even educate the public. But I just want you to always be aware when you speak with your clientele, whether it's members of the club, whether it's homeowners that you're managing their lawn and landscape, that you don't know what information they're receiving and what information they're believing. So always proceed with caution, always have an open mind, and always understand that they're going to look at things, especially as it relates to pesticide use, fertility, you know, water use and turf, differently than what we are. So you can have a little bit of empathy, but always be respectful and always be ready to have a response that's based on science. Hope that helps. We'll try to keep the videos coming. Look forward to talking with you again soon.